Afternoon, Ngozi Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Ngozi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. I'm on my own today, guys, and the topic today is overcoming shame, judgment in toxic relationship. So today I will be talking about this video is going to empower you. We're going to explore the challenges, journey of overcoming shame and judgment in toxic relationship. We understand the power of breaking free from emotional turmoil caused by unhealthy connection. It can be really daunting. It can be a really, really daunting task. But I'm here to help you navigate through it. So throughout this video, I'm going to identify the signs of a toxic relationship and understanding its impact on your emotional well-being. The role of the shame, how the role of the shame can actually perpetuate in unhealthy relationship dynamics. And I'm going to cover the practical strategies of breaking the cycle of shame and judgment and reclaiming your self-worth and setting healthy boundaries, fostering positive relationship in the future. So if you are somebody who has experienced shame and judgment in a toxic relationship, and this video is for you. And if you are somebody who is looking for love, and this video is for you as well, so you can look at the signs and rise above shame. Or if you are somebody who has gone through shame, shame, it can be, we live in this world where we have different cultures. Some cultures, if you go through divorce, if you go through abusive relationship, toxic relationship, you file for divorce, it means it's shame. You're shaming your family. And some religion as well, if you actually go through the divorce, it's a shame to go through that divorce. They make you feel like you're shaming the family, you're shaming the religious, you're shaming God. But why would God ask you to stay in an abusive relationship if God does not want you to actually go through the abuse? So he would not want you to stay with somebody that is going to kill you, because staying in a toxic relationship, it can actually kill you through stress. It could be abusive physically, emotionally. So God does not want you to do that, to stay in a relationship that does not save him or that does not save you. But some religions, they say if you leave, your relationship is shame. So I'm going to cover that as well. And some families as well, like my culture, African culture, when somebody gets married, there's a process that you have to go through. You have to pay lobola. I don't know in some places what they call it, but there's this thing where you have to pay, and then it has to pay cows, like maybe 20 cows or 10 cows. They do the tradition, they celebrate. But then after that, if the relationship becomes toxic, some people may feel that because the husband paid this lobola, and they feel ashamed. Let me just switch off my phone. They feel ashamed in actually leaving that relationship. If they do, the families, they don't agree with it. They say, you know what? They tell you that marriage is not easy. You got to stick to it. When you go and tell your family, because the man paid lobola, so they will tell you, just stay there. The marriage is not easy. But if you find really African families, parents, that they'll tell you that if our child is going through the abuse, then the divorce, they'll encourage you to go through divorce. But some families, they don't. So when somebody pays lobola in Africa, that means you are bound to that husband. You have to stay with the man because they paid lobola. There are some English guys, white guys who have gone to Africa and they go through the tradition and they go through tradition and they know what I'm talking about. But paying lobola is not that. It's got nothing to do with owning somebody. But some people, they believe that when I pay lobola, I own you. And I'm going to do whatever I want to with you. That's not the case. So there's different religions and different Indian religions. I've seen people having an affairs, and I ask them, why are you having an affair? Why can't you just divorce? They are like, I'm married to my cousin. I'm married to the woman that my parents introduced me to. So if I divorce this person, I'm bringing shame. And women say the same thing. If I divorce this person, I'm bringing shame to my family. So they will prefer to actually live a double life. So there's so many things that are going on that people go through. So if you are that person who go through these challenges and you are afraid to get out of a toxic relationship because you don't want to shame your family. But guess what? I rather my family turn their back on me and then I set myself free. That's my own opinion. I rather, if I'm in a toxic relationship and my family tell me that I need to stay because they don't want to feel ashamed. They want me to have this name of being married to somebody, but that person abuses me. I rather have a relationship with God and not have a relationship with my family and just leave that relationship. So if you are that person who is in a relationship and you don't know what to do, you feel ashamed. If you leave, you feel ashamed. With my coaching is what I do as well. If you can follow me when I'm doing my coaching, or if you look at my banner, this is what I do. When I have the chains on my picture, I have the real chains. Even when I do my events, I do the real chains because it helps somebody to understand that when you are in a relationship that doesn't serve you, or whatever the life, the situation when you're on it, if that life, it does not align with your values, it does not align with your beliefs, it brings change. There are specific chains that it brings to your relationship. It will bring chains of emotions. Your emotions will be chained into that situation. So you have to unlock it by removing yourself in that situation. Feelings will be changed because you no longer have the feelings that you are supposed to have. You're no longer living the life that you want to live because you have the chains in your life. So you're no longer living the life like with your husband or with your wife. The abuse, by the way, a toxic relationship is not all about men. There are women who are abusive as well. There are men who go through abusive relationship. They feel ashamed to come forward and actually speak and say, my wife is abusive, my partner is abusive towards me, because they are men. Why would a man wanting to expose himself? It shows weakness, but it happens. I have seen it when I go to a train station. A woman tells her husband or whatever they are, or his partner, to shut the fuck up. Mind my language, God. God, mind my language. A woman would tell the man, shut the fuck up and don't get the children for me. But that man is a man, is a grown man. Why would I tell a grown man off? You can't, that's abusive. You can't tell a grown man off. My children were filming one day at uh, they were filming it. What do you call it? Took them for filming the studio, and we went for fitting. First, they have to go for fitting, so we went for fitting, and when Harry Potter studio. So we went there, and when we go for filming, we normally for fitting because we have to get different. So we normally go by train. So we went there and we did the fitting, their costume, what they were gonna wear, and everything was fine, makeup and everything. So then we left. So while we were getting off on the train, this woman, she was giving it to her husband, like giving it. I'm like, I felt sorry for the poor guy. That is toxic relationship. Can you imagine at the underground around between 6 and 7 p.m. how busy it is? And when somebody tells you off in front of the crowd, can you imagine the humiliation? So this woman, she was giving it all to her husband, and the man, poor guy, he was doing exactly what he's been told. And then I was like, is he actually being serious? So he was getting told off. When I'm saying told off, I don't mean that he's telling you to shut that if off, and no, he was more and more and more and more until they got to the train. So I was like, thank God I'm not taking the train. But those are the signs that so you are in a toxic relationship. No one deserves to be spoken like a child. When you are in a relationship, a woman has to respect her husband. A husband has to respect his wife. How we communicate with each other, we can fight. Don't get me wrong. We can fight in a relationship. Fight is allowed. We fight with grace. And when we finish fighting, if you see the fight getting out of hand, you walk away and let somebody else, the other person, cool down. But when you are in a relationship where you're being told that you're stupid, you're being told that you are this, you are this, you are that, it becomes your identity, and it becomes your identity. It becomes your image. You start believing that those words, and you start acting on those words, and the relationship will get more toxic because you end up having anxiety, you end up having depression. And if you don't seek support, mostly people who are in a toxic relationship, they make excuses for their spouse. He is what he is because of maybe he didn't grow up with his father. They make excuses, say it's because of, or maybe he was in an abusive relationship, and they make excuses. I've seen the pattern. When I speak to somebody, I'm like, why does he speak to you like that? Or why does she speak to you like that? Or she speaks to me like that because she has problems with her family. Or a man will tell me, or he speaks to me like that, or because she's got problems with this or confident, whatever the excuse they come up with. But to be honest with you, for me, if somebody suffers from depression, or if somebody has had problems like childhood attachment problems, for me, what I believe is you seek healing. You don't bruise the other person, because if somebody start making excuses and say this person, they are who they are, or let's say they drink, they're alcoholic, and somebody says they are who they are because of, that is an excuse. A relationship, when we enter relationship, promises are made. There is no such thing as a contract that is saying, I'm going to love you and abuse you. I'm going to treat you really bad, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. Whatever I want in a relationship, there is romantic that is involved when somebody meets somebody. There's that person tells you their story. You connect to their story when they tell you, I'm single because of this. You connect to their story. You sympathize with them. You relate to their story. You connect to their story because they're telling you how amazing they are. But and then after, when you enter that relationship, the relationship, it becomes shame. Relationship, it becomes, there is a judgment in that relationship, either being judged by people or your simple, your spouse. They put you on the judgment. Judgment means I'm going to put you on the judgment. I'm going to do whatever I want. It is God that put people on the judgment, that crucifies. He was crucified. But Satan puts people in judgment because of sins. God puts people on the judgment. On earth, us, the living, we don't put people on the judgment. When we do that, it means the life is not good. So it's very, very important to understand the signs. When somebody is putting you on the cross of judgment, you have to understand what was agreed from the beginning. When we began this relationship, this person told me they loved me. They told me they wanted to spend the rest of their lives with me. They told me how beautiful I was, and my smile, when I smile, it's like their world is covered with joy, with grace. But now I'm being told to shut my up. When I speak, I'm being disrespected. So you have to look at those signs. And if you are somebody that is living that life, you have to ask yourself, is this why when my parents gave birth to me, is this what I assigned? I said to God, this is my destiny. Is this my destiny that I have agreed to it? If you believe that it's not your destiny, that you've agreed to be abused, no matter how much you love somebody, no matter how much you feel that you are not enough in your life, you feel that you are not worthy, nobody else will love you. Love starts from within. When you walk your path and realize how unique you are, then you walk away in that relationship because it's not your destiny. Part of the destiny is not written for you to be abused. When we are born, our destiny is already written. Just before our parents meet, they tell each other whatever they tell each other, the promises, they make the promises. There's already a destiny that is written, that there's a child that is going to be born in this bloodline between two parents. My father's name is Witness. My mother's name is Clara. So my mother's name is Clara. So these are two people that my parents, they have the same name. My dad is Mnube, my mom is Mnube. So they both share the same name. I don't know why they got married anyway. Don't ask me. So these two people, when they met, they had 3 kids. My parents had 3 kids before they divorced. When they had these 3 kids, the destiny was already written, but their destiny, because they divorced, their destiny was never written for 3 kids. Maybe it was written for more. If they would have stayed, or if they shared values and beliefs and what they want, if they were destined to be together. It's just life. So I was born. My 2 sisters, older sisters, were born. Our destiny is already written. I'm carrying my book of life. My 2 sisters are carrying their book of life. In that book of life, there is no something that is written that Nomsa is going through. Is going to go through the pain. Is going to go through rejection. Is going to go through the abuse. Is going to go through this. There is nothing. My destiny is written with 7 stars. It means my life will shine. But because we live in this world where we have to learn what life is about, in order for us to shine, we have to go through challenges in life. It's then up to us to actually rise above those challenges and go to another side. reclaiming our destiny, keep reclaiming our destiny. But when you are on this side now, the side where there is abuse, the side where there is shame, where your life has been chosen by somebody else, the destiny now, somebody is now writing your destiny. God is no longer writing your destiny, but someone is, your spouse now, they are writing your destiny if you let them. Now there is a chain, like, I'm not enough. I don't think this man loves me. I don't think this woman loves me. Where is it written in your destiny that you have to doubt yourself? I've done it myself. I've doubted myself. There were times where I walked through life where men told me that I wasn't beautiful, and I believed what they were telling me because I thought it was me. But what I didn't realize that man was battling his own demons. They were battling their own battles. They didn't know what they wanted in life. They didn't know who they wanted to become, but they put that burden on me, telling me, Nomsa, it starts with this. And man comes with it, says, Nomsa, it's not you, it's me. I think now, I don't think that I want to continue with this relationship. And I'm like, I'm listening. Then you get hurt. Then you're under the pillow. And then you are like, am I really enough for this to find another woman? Am I really, really enough to find another man? You start doubting yourself. But your destiny is already written in full, is there on the other side. And you're doubting yourself. Just because of one person telling you that your dreams are not enough. Just because of one person telling you that you are not beautiful enough, you are not handsome enough. What is beauty anyway? Tell me, what is beauty? I believed myself. If you had met me in 2008, in 2009 is when I changed my perspective of what beauty is. You know, I have a nice, beautiful body myself. I'm not going to talk myself bad about myself. I have a really, really, really nice, beautiful body. My mom, she's so beautiful. She has this, the shape of her body is like this. It's like well-built African woman. She's skinny on the top, and down there she has everything. She has nice bum where a man can lean on it. So I'm built like my mom. And but when men came to me, because of that body that I have, and when I went out, I used my beauty against men. I'm going to speak the truth. I believed that my body was the part where I can attract men. And if a man tells me that I'm not enough, I will have this ego and just say, you know what? Just stick it. I can get better men. But I didn't know that beauty comes from the inside. When you believe that beauty comes from the inside, how you lead your life, it will be different than when you believe that the looks can shape your future. But I believed that. I even spent 3 hours or 2 hours getting dressed, making sure that my fake hair matched my eyelashes, my fake eyelashes. I spent 3 hours making sure that my clothes and my shoes and my handbag matched everything. I spent 3 hours making sure that my fake hair, my fake nails matched my handbag. When I stepped outside, I made sure that I didn't step in the mud because I was protecting the wardrobe, not my soul. My soul was broken. I didn't have the skills of working on myself because I believe that if I step outside, a man looks at me and they'll go, wow. But I didn't realize that actually I will pick the wrong man to actually date me because of my body, because of my looks. But when I change, When I realized actually what's on the inside of a person is greater than what's on the outside, my life changed. I was never going to pick somebody that was going to actually not value my life, not value me as a person. I was never going to pick a man that would tell me that I'm not enough, or tell me these stories that Inumsa, you are not enough, or tell me what they think was right. So I was me. I lived me. There are some women who do that. They will tell you that because they have 5 degrees or 3 degrees, they are educated. Because they are independent. Therefore, they cannot meet a man. There's no man out there who is in their league because they're beautiful. They'll tell you that, Nomsa, I have everything that a man can ever want in my life. They're single, but they're struggling. But when you tell them, why did you change how you think? Because to tell you a secret, a degree will not get you out of a toxic relationship. I've seen people who are educated. I've seen a relationship bringing somebody down like they're nothing because of stress. So just because you have a degree, just because you have a higher paying job, it does not make you qualify to select the right person. What makes you qualify is you working on yourself. Okay, I've got these degrees. Okay, I've got the skills to get my job. I've worked really hard in my life. Now, work on yourself to avoid picking the wrong people. So these were things that I did myself, that I used my beauty against men. And I was like, you know what? If you don't think that I'm enough for me. And I'll go out. I'm looking good. I don't drink, I don't smoke. If a man approaches me, for me to qualify them, what do you do for work? And they would tell me, I am this. Then in my head, I'm counting. So that means you're earning 1,200,000, 100 grand. I'm speaking the truth, guys. And then I'll be saying, okay, what car is he driving? What car are you driving? I'm asking now. I won't be asking, but he will tell me anyway. Driving this nice car, and he will tell me that I live in this area. I'm like, wow, he's a well-off guy. So yeah, my daddy used to say, you have to find a man that will take good care of you. So I'm like, okay, I'm counting how much he's earning. I'm counting, I'm speaking the truth. I'm asking I'm counting how much he's earning, and will be able to look after me. So he's good to go. I can get to know him. So then that will be my decision. I'm getting to know the guy. I'm like, wow, he's even good looking as well. The looks that comes with it. I'm like, he's a very good looking guy. He's very, very, he's qualified. He's got a nice job. He's got a home. Why not? Let me get to know him. I didn't know what I want. Everything that I've just said, it means I didn't know what I want. That's how I qualified men to date me. But now, when I decided, okay, the way I picked men, it wasn't good. It wasn't really the right way. I changed how I think about life, because my thoughts and my beliefs, they are the ones that are going to shape my life, my future. Now I made a decision that, okay, my life is not going how I want. So I'm going to change how I do things. So I stopped getting ready for 2 hours. I get ready for 40 minutes now or half an hour. It takes me 40 minutes or half an hour to get dressed and go out. The rest 2 hours is now for personal development. It's now for me to pray, to meditate, prepare myself for the day. That's how I spend my time on. And what else do I do? And when I decided that, I made a choice that actually what's on the inside of me is greater than what's on the outside. So I asked myself that I'm a Christian. And I even changed my dressing. I used to, if you go to my profile and browse down, there's a dress that I wore that is beautiful. You can see my boobies out because I thought by showing my boobs, I'm going to attract men, but I was attracting the wrong man because I'm already attractive. So I'm already attracting the wrong guys by showing my body, thinking that I was doing the right thing. So I changed how I dress. Now, when a man has to approach me, they had to guess what's on the inside here with my clothes. Don't get me wrong, I still look good. When I go out, I still look good. I love my clothes and I love to looking good. So I just changed how I do things and my mindset has changed. So, and then I've decided, okay, I'm gonna work. What's on the outside is greater than me. Now he is the man. Then I said to God, you know what? You know, my life has been messed up. How I pick these guys, how I pick men, is not good. I pick the wrong people, and I was like, God is a person. He is a spirit that is a person. So I was like, just find me the man that is going to complement my future, what I need in the future. I met this guy. If you look at my actually, Martin is like a copy of David Beckham. He looks like David Beckham. Everybody, when I go online, and they're always like, who is that? Like David Beckham. He's a very, very good looking guy. But when I met him, for me, it was never about the looks. The guy thought, okay, this African girl, because he's handsome, he's tall, he thought he would get away with it. So we go on these dates. And I was like, okay, I change how I think life, how I select men, and how I communicate as well. I was more playful, more smiling, more playful, in a way that when I ask you questions, you won't even recognize what I'm asking, but you give me the right answer without thinking about it, without thinking that I was interviewing you. So this guy, he turns up, he wants to take me on a date, and I was like, okay, let's go on a date. I met him in town. It was on his mom's birthday. The guy thought he was the best dancer in town, and I was like, no, hell no. Let me show you how we dance in Africa. So we started doing the dance competition all night. So then he gave me his number and I refused. He asked for my number, I refused all night. And my friend was like, Nomsa, have mercy. The guy is actually asking for your number. Give the guy, poor guy. I gave him the number. My idea was to shut him up. Because he was drunk, I was like, I'm going to shut this guy up and give him my number, and then he's just going to leave me alone. So he remembered the 2 weeks later, he got in touch. I'd forgotten about him. So when we went on a date, I wasn't looking up, but his looks was the last thing that was on my mind. When I'm saying it was the last thing that was on my mind, it is because of what I had gone through in life. When you go through pain and suffering, you will learn how to change things. So when I met the guy, for me, I asked him questions. I was like, here's the questions. I put them in front. I could see the sweat. I could see the guy. He was very uncomfortable. But in the end, he realized that I was a nice person. So and then that's how I dated him. Because I changed how I pick the guys. And also asking the right questions, and also testing him as we go along the relationship. Sometimes when we did, sometimes when we just go, Hope, what do you want? That's my daughter. So sometimes, like, you come and see me. Sometimes I'll be walking my barefoot. I'm dressed really nicely and I'm walking with barefoot. And I just decided the things that I do when I'm on my own, I decided that I'm just going to be genuine. I'm going to be unique. I'm going to be free. I decided to free myself, to let this guy meet the real me. And I was no longer putting a face putting in some character that did not exist in my life. I just decided that I'm gonna be me. What I love sports. When I'm watching sports, I scream, I shout. And when he comes and he says, no, sir, we're watching the sports. I'm like, are you really, really serious? You want to watch sports with me? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, let's watch the sports. I scream, I shout, I scream, I shout. And he was like, oh my God, yes. And once I went to watch wrestling. Yeah, I went to watch wrestling with in Manchester. And wrestling, we go mad when we were watching sports. I don't watch wrestling anymore. So that was then before I sorted my life out and stuff. So watch wrestling, and I was screaming and screaming, and everybody else, no one goes to watching wrestling and just going like this. No one goes to watch a football and just goes and sit there and you just have to get excited. And that is in real life. That's the person that I am. I get excited. If I like somebody, if I'm hanging out with people that allow me to be myself, I become myself. I'm also a person that it goes quiet. I like to observe information. I like to take the information, and whatever that is being said that is valuable, I ask if I can use it. Or if somebody really I admire, I just go quiet and let them tell me what makes them the person that they are. And then I take some advice and I use it myself to actually help me to grow. So that is the thing that you have to, when you are in a relationship, you have to understand your character. Who are you in this relationship? But when your character is being taken away from you, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, is draining. It can lead to feelings of shame. It can lead to feeling of judgment and self-betrayal, because when that happens, the negative emotions can mentally destroy you, and you can actually have this you can feel the betrayal, that I've betrayed myself because I've picked the wrong guy or I picked the wrong man. It can feel like a betrayal. But how do we stop it becoming this betrayal, becoming this thing where you feel that your emotions have been stripped away from you, your life has been stripped away from you? How do you do that? By overcoming this shame. So you have to practice self-care, self-love. This includes setting boundaries in your relationship, taking time for yourself, engaging in activities that bring you joy, that brings you fulfillment, addressing the feelings of betrayal that can be very, very challenging in life. But it can also be a very, very important step for healing from a toxic relationship. So you have to reflect, understand why that has happened, and be honest. Learn from your experiences. Some people, they don't want to learn from their past. They blame the past. But how can I blame the past that I didn't know that it was going to happen? You tell me that when you meet somebody, do you know that they're going to abuse you? No, you don't. Because people can put on a personality that will make you believe that they are the best. So how do you know if that person is going to abuse you? You don't. How do you know if this relationship that you enter is going to be toxic? Sometimes there are signs, but sometimes there are no signs. So why do we blame ourselves for the things that were done to us? So self-care and self-love, it means that I'm not going to blame myself because I never asked for this, but I'm going to seek support. I'm going to seek healing. I'm going to be okay with what has been done in my life, and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to forgive, and I'm going to move on, find healing and find forgiveness, and I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to thank God that I came out alive in this relationship. And then I'm going to continue loving myself, knowing that there is another woman out there who is waiting to love me. There is another man out there who is waiting to love me. I'm going to divorce the mindset of saying men are the same. Women are the same. No, they are not. If they are the same, that means we come from the same mother and same father, but we are not coming from the same father. We're coming from different parents. So that means we are all different. So when you believe that men are the same, just because of one man or two men that entered your life and crushed your life, you don't have to believe it. Finding healing, it means Allah me for me. The scars of my past, they make me who I am today. The shame of my past, that is supposed to be shame. I'm not going to be ashamed for entering the wrong relationship. I'm not going to be ashamed of it because somebody out there does not have the courage to love again. But I have the courage to love again. So I'm not going to be ashamed. So if you are somebody who has gone through toxic relationship, you are afraid that because you made mistakes in the past and you've not learned from those mistakes, you're blaming yourself. Why me? Les Brown says, who do you suggest to have problems than you? It's a betrayal. It can feel like a betrayal. But healing requires patience. It requires you to make effort. It's possible to move forward with your life. It's possible to find peace, to find healing. It is possible. There are some women who have gone through rape, who have found the courage to actually create charities, to actually, some of them, I see them on YouTube, they are big speakers who have gone through rape, who have gone through physically abuse, emotionally abuse, but they have the courage to speak and help others. So you can use your story to help other people that have gone through similar situations. You can use your story to help you find the courage to heal and forgive yourself and move on, have another relationship. But you have to learn how to select the right people. You don't have to select people. You don't have to be ashamed. There are strategies. You can seek support, practice self-care. Don't isolate yourself and say, I'm not enough. Challenge your negative self-thoughts. Set health boundaries. Reflect on your experience. What have you learned from this experience? Self-compassion. When you challenge your negative self-talk, it means you are aware. You can identify, not to keep yourself safe. Sometimes when people go through challenges, times they go through difficult times when it comes to relationship, they build a wall. These are my two hands. This wall, this side, they are like, they protect themselves. I don't want anybody to come this side, because this side is where I feel safe. It's where I feel that I'm protected. But when I bring a man or bring a woman to me, they're going to abuse me. they're gonna do the same thing like my ex did. But that's not the same. If you decide and you have confidence in you, if you trust in your abilities, it's all about trusting your decision, trusting your abilities, embracing your past, and saying, you know what? I made a mistake like myself. I made mistakes in the past. I choose men because they were handsome. Inside, they were broken. I choose a man because they had a good job. Now I need to have time with this man. He tells me that I'm busy with work. If I ask, like my ex, if I was to ask my ex, can I have £2,000? He give me his bank card. Go and get the money. And I want to spend time with you. He'd be like, I'm busy, honey, building our business, our future. I'm busy. So he hasn't got time to hang out with me. I just have to wander and just have to stay there and wait for him until he makes millions because he's building a future. And I was also a people pleaser. If somebody says both of us were people pleaser, somebody says, let's go and do this, even if I didn't want to, I would just agree. But now I don't. If somebody says, no, sir, can we go out tonight? If I'm busy, even if I'm not busy, sometimes I do it just so I can keep my life going. I say, no, I'm busy. While I'm busy watching TV, I just say no. If I don't feel like going out, I say no, I don't want to go out. So those are the mistakes that I used to do. But I looked at those mistakes and I was like, things need to change. I need to change how I present myself to the world, because my life, my future is going to shape the decision that I make. They are going to shape how my future becomes. And I was no longer doing things to please my friends. I was no longer doing things to please my family. I love my family, don't get me wrong. My family gets too much love than anybody else. I love my family so much, but when it comes to decisions, I make decisions based on my desires, what God wants for me. If I pray to God and say, God, guide me through this, if God says yes, my family don't have a say. My friends don't have a say, because God is the creator of my destiny. I write the pen. I'm holding the pen. All I do is I pray for the raw power of God fall upon me. Let the anointing of God fall upon me. And then he'll help me to think. Creativity. I pray. When I get creativity, I get the ideas. God says, no, sir, this is who you want to become. Here's me going to my family and tell them my ideas, and they took me out of my ideas. Does it mean I can succeed? No, I can't. So whatever you go through in life, you have to understand that there's a reason why we go through the things that we go through. We don't go through things just because we have to give up. We go through things because on the other side, there's a breakthrough. So you have to create a breakthrough framework. Some people may say, no, sir, you don't understand. You don't know the problems. Tell me about it. I know the problems. I know the problems. I've gone through challenges. I came 2002 in the United Kingdom. My dad, my stepdad, is my father. When I arrived in the United Kingdom, he prepared a future for me in the United Kingdom financially. He already prepared for me. But when I came here in the United Kingdom, I stayed 2 years and then he died in 2004. I find myself grieving for the man that I loved. 2006, my father that I'm close to decided to die as well. I find myself, I'm grieving for my dad. I was pregnant with my daughter. The two men that I loved in this world. Now they are gone. I'm grieving. And in 2004, I spent the whole 2004 searching for the love of my life. Going through matchmakers, I met my ex through a matchmaker. This is what I desire from a man. Praying to God, saying, God, find me this beautiful man. A man who has everything. A man who can look after me, who can let me be. I spent the whole 2004 searching, and I finally found this man. But I had no clue. Relationship skills, I didn't have them. Then we go through up to 2009 now. I've lost my dad. Okay, I found this man. I'm engaged, getting married. Everything is falling into place. But I became miserable. I became miserable through that 2002 when I met the guy. 2004, 2005, I was very happy. First year in a relationship, I'm so happy. Second year in a relationship, I'm getting excited. When I have kids, we have a daughter, everything. Now I'm trying to keep a man. Now I'm trying to raise our daughter. Together, we're trying to raise our daughter, and now I'm engaged trying to keep a man now, and trying to guide through my daughter through her future. In 2009, my life fell apart. I find myself, the man that I spent years searching for. Now I was a single man, trying to raise a child on my own. My life was like, okay, because I didn't know how to select the guy. I got the right guy, don't get me wrong. It was the right guy. But I had no clue. I didn't have any relationship skills, how to look after a man. I didn't have those skills. So if you are a man who is watching, when you date a woman, the woman is not there for you to mistreat them. It's not there for you to take them for granted. The promises that you have made in that relationship, you have to keep them. You have to have time for your woman. If you are a woman, you have to have time for your man, for your queen and your king. Have the time. Make time. Don't go pleasing other people in your relationship. Don't go comparing your relationship with somebody else, because your relationship is unique, is exciting. When I find myself, I've no fathers, I've no men. I'm now having to explain to my family in Africa that this man that you all thought was going to be the love of my life, we have now separated. I felt shame. I was guilty. But at the same time, I had found myself. And I said to myself, I'm not going to be ashamed of my life. I'm not going to be ashamed for making the right decision. So I had to work on myself. The first thing I did was to go and quit football. I wanted to know something, other things. I just went to my manager and said, I'm retiring. I'm no longer playing football anymore. The last game for me was against Arsenal. And that was the last time that 2009. Yeah, that was 2009. Just the end of 2009. And I was like, I needed to start again. I was in Essex. I moved to Henley-on-Thames. My life is actually bonkers. When I make a decision, I don't talk to people. I was like, I'm moving to Henley-on-Thames. I went on Google actually, and I just typed best schools in United Kingdom. Hertfordshire and Henley-on-Thames, Oxfordshire came up, so I chose Henley-on-Thames. No, I chose both of them. I went to Hertfordshire. When I walked into the pub, I was with my ex and our daughter. We already separated, but the decision that I had made that he was going to be involved in every decision that I make with my children. He's going to get involved, no matter how hard that is. It wasn't easy. It was hard, depressing, but because I had hired a coach to help me through life, it wasn't easy. So I go to Hertfordshire, walked into the pub, and they're like, "You are not locals." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not, but I'm looking to move into the area. So beautiful, gorgeous, the field, everything." Then when I came to Henley-on-Thames, I was like, wow, this is where I belong. This is the place. That's where I'm moving to. So I moved to here. There's lots of celebrities that lives in my area. George Harrison, if somebody knows George Harrison, is one of our neighbors. And Russell Brand lives in Henley. There's lots of celebrities that lives in Henley. It's very, very expensive. So when I said to my ex, I'm moving to Henley, and he was like, "Nomsa, you are living in a dream. There is no way you can afford Henley-on-Thames." I said, you are right. There's no way that I'm going to afford Henley-on-Thames. But I'm sure I will find a place. When I was looking for a place, I wasn't looking at how much maintenance he needs to pay, how much this, no. I was looking for a place based on what I can afford. So I come here and look for a place. I found the school. I bring the school, and the council, they gave me the school. Then now the place, I could not find a house. The house where we lived, the mortgage in Essex, we lived in a big mansion, big mansion. So if we had to come here in Henley and live the same lifestyle, the mortgage would have been £10,000 or 20,000. But I didn't have that money to waste. So when I came here, and I was like, this guy he was right. We looked at the houses, going to estate agencies, the houses are so expensive. But I didn't give up. My life had been messed up for a long time. I needed to get out from Essex. So my daughter goes, "Mommy, we've been looking for your houses all day. So let's go and buy a lollipop for me." So we go to the shop. That was God. He said, "No, sir, go to the shop. Your house is there." So when we went to the shop, I saw the local newspaper. I picked it up, and I saw the house, the price. I was like, "This is my house, if it's still available." So I rang the guy. He was like, "Come on this day, Nomsa, I'm not available today, but come on this day, I'll be available. Then we can do the paperwork." So this guy, when he was talking to me, I was like, why is he trusting me doing the paperwork? I've not seen the guy, his property. So he was very, very confident that I'm gonna like his property. When I walked in, I loved the property, and I was like, "We're taking it." So that's how I ended up where I ended, because I believed in myself. And I went through, I sought support. How I sought support when my relationship was falling apart, my head was going crazy. I remember making an appointment to my GP, and my GP goes, "Nomsa," I walked in, he goes, "What is going on?" I was like, I haven't got a clue. I don't know how I can explain it to you how I'm feeling right now, but I can't. He knows what happened. He goes, "What happened?" Relationship is gone. And he was like, "Okay, sit down. Let's have a talk." And he was like, you need to go for counseling." I was like, "Okay." where do I start? Do I just go and find somebody online? And it was like, there's somebody that I know, I'm going to connect you with this person. And then when I got home, I got a phone call. He was this doctor. I felt sorry for me. I got home, I think after a few days or whatever, I got a phone call, and I started having therapy with this person, but I didn't get what was going on. And then after that, I went to another therapist. I went to 4 psychologists. Another therapist, I was talking to them, didn't get a clue what they were going about. My head was still messed up. I didn't have depression, but it was a shock in my head that the relationship that I thought it was going to last for a very long time is gone. So I'm seeking support. The reason why I'm telling you this story, guys, is for you to seek support. Nothing else. To forget about my story is how you seek support. So I went to the third psychologist. Okay, we began 10 weeks. All of these people, we were doing 10 weeks. I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. And then I went to the 4th one. So when I went to the 4th one, now I got it. We were talking. She made sense. Okay, I needed to go through forgiveness. So I would do everything. Forgive, go through everything. Go through everything. But one day I was like, I decided that I'm going to fast for 40 days. I changed my mindset. I was like, my life is not going how I want. I'm going to fast for 40 days. So I fasted for 40 days. Every day I was working on my healing. I wasn't blaming anybody. I wasn't blaming my ex. I wasn't blaming myself. I wasn't blaming the people that have hurt me in the past. At that moment, I had made a decision that I need to work on myself. My life was messed up. That's how I realized that my life is messed up. My relationship is ending the same way. So I need to work on myself. So it was now me and God. Fasting for 40 days. I'm praying. I'm forgiving people. And one day, my last day of my fast, I remember the pain. And that pain, when the pain came out of my chest, it was like a cloud. There was a big cloud that was in me, and then it came out. And then when that cloud came out, now I wanted to know why my parents divorced. So I asked my mom, why did you and my dad divorced? So she told me that because the part of it, I was blaming my parents' relationship with, although my stepdad was nice, my step-parents were nice, but there were parts where I wanted my parents would have stayed together, but my parents divorced when I was young. I didn't even know the divorce. So I was looking for something to blame. That's why I'm telling you the story. I was looking for something to blame because my mind wasn't in the right place. My mom tells me this is this now. So now when my mom was explaining that your dad wanted a housewife, Nomsa, but when I heard you guys, you and your 2 sisters, I was very young. I wanted to go back to school to study and create my own life. My mom, she's a fashion designer. That's why I love clothes. So my dad wanted a housewife. My dad wanted to be a provider. My mom didn't want to stay at home full-time, be a full-time mom. She wanted to go back to work. When she divorced, she did go back to school. But now my dad made a decision. My mom made a decision that you don't want me to go back to school, but I want to go back to school, and then we're going to go through this separation. So when they went to the separation, my mom said, when I came to you as a man, I didn't have children. So I'm not going to take my children to my mother back again. You're going to raise your children. So they made that choice that my dad is going to raise the kids, and my dad is a man that will not allow his children to be raised another man. So there was this argument. So my mom said, fine, look after the kids. So my grandmother looked after the kids while my parents worked themselves out, their lives out. So I grow up now, all I remember is love my dad. So now my mom tells me the story. That's when I realize in my relationship, I'm looking for my dad. I'm not looking for a husband. I'm looking for a husband that is going to treat me like my dad and my stepdad. The love that I had with my dad, the relationship that I had with my dad, the relationship that I had with my stepdad, I was looking for it in an intimacy relationship. A man tells me off, I'll go, no, defensive. Who do you think you are? I wouldn't fight. I don't know how to fight. I don't fight men, but inside of me, I'll be really angry. Why are you telling me off? You should know better that you need to explain to me, because the reason why is because my parents never told me off. I was never a spoiled child, but I was a loved child who my parents would sit me down and explain the consequences. If I make a mistake, what will be the consequences? What are they going to be? So that guiding me through life never controlled my life. So now I'm looking for a similar man that is going to understand me, that is going to be my dad, that is going to be my stepdad. I'm looking for my parents when I'm dating. In my head, but I wasn't aware. Subconsciously, that's what I was looking for, but I wasn't aware. When my mom told me, that's when I realized, actually, this man, my dad, is the reason why my relationship falls apart, because I'm looking for my dad. Then I changed my mind. I realized that actually I don't need to look for my dad. I realized that men are unique. They all have their own personality. They all have their own image, how they do things. So I don't need to look for my dad. I need to look for a unique man that is going to accept me for who I am. My dad, I had to realize that my parents were my parents. Now that I'm going through this journey where I'm finding a man to get married, to have kids, I need to find a man that is going to be unique, not to compare them with my dad. Those were the things that were breaking my relationship. Now I finally got it. Because the reason why I finally got it is because my spirit inside of me, it was dead. Now that I fasted, I've learned how to fast. I've learned how to look after myself. I learned how to be me, how to look after, to put me first, to love myself unconditional. That's when everything, no matter how many psychologists I went, because consciously I hadn't made up my mind to change. I thought I did, but when I fasted, I was activating my body, my soul, not my body, my soul and my spirit. Because when we don't look after ourselves, we go through depression, anxiety, the spirit dies. When the soul dies, the spirit dies. You become a walking zombie that cannot make decisions. You become a follower. So this is who I had become, a follower, a zombie, a walking zombie. But now that I had activated my spirit, my soul, I was good to go, making decisions. And I was able to correct the mistakes that I've made in the past. I was able to embrace it unapologetic. I was able to be grateful to God that I made it to that realization. I wasn't going to be ashamed of myself. I wasn't going to be ashamed of the chains of my past. I was breaking every chain. The chain of I'm not enough, I was breaking it. The chain of becoming a follower, I was breaking it. The chain of comparing my father with the man that I was supposed to date, I was breaking it. I was no longer comparing anybody with anybody. I knew I wanted a man. I knew what I wanted from a man. So I was no longer wanting to meet my dad. Some people still do. I was no longer wanting to be something that I wasn't. I walk the path authentically. I wear my authentic coat. Take me, this is who I am. If you want me to pretend to be somebody else, you have to go somewhere else. So I was walking my path. When I dress, when I walk, I will feel it. When I go to the shop, I look at the clothes, I look at the dress, and I'm like, I have to look at myself, my body. Is this going to match my body? I just bought clothes because I love them, not because of what I've seen on social media or because one of the celebrities, they are wearing them. I was buying clothes because I love them. I was doing the things that I'm still doing them now. I'm doing the challenge, confidence challenge, not because I'm not confident. It's because there's a room for growth. And when I've been doing this, I'm on day 23 today, 24 today. When I'm doing this, I can see the difference. How I feel. The fear, there's a fear. Fear of success within me. That's what I've realized. That sometimes I'm surrounded by these people that are judgmental. And when they start judging me, I get uncomfortable. But when you are confident, when somebody judges you, you are okay with it. So now I'm okay with it. When somebody comes in and judge me, I'm like, okay, one of those. I don't feel that I have to explain myself. But before, I'll be like, this person should know better that they shouldn't say these words to me, but they shouldn't. Because everyone is allowed to be who they want to become. If they believe that they want to say negative words to me, I don't have to respond to those negative words. But before I took the challenge, I would feel like if somebody, I have gossip talk show speakers, sometimes when somebody doesn't agree with what is happening at gossip talk shows, for me, what I do is with my business, I don't make decisions on my own. I always get an expert to come in. So with the gossip talk shows, there was somebody that I was working with that I go in from one of the TV channels. So this guy was helping me just to have a look if everything is okay. So he approved it. But then somebody didn't know this is the strategy that I did. So they were like undermining me. But I got upset. Before I did the challenge, I was getting upset. I was getting annoyed. But now when I look back, that person had a right to wanting to understand it. There might be the way they came across, it wasn't right, but they had a right to ask. I didn't have to feel how I felt. If I was really, really confident enough within myself, I would have let them say whatever they want to say, and I would have been emotionally, I wouldn't have been able to attach to it, but I did. So when I'm doing this confidence now, I'm realizing that my confidence is not where it's meant to be. That's why when somebody says something, I get uncomfortable. So I decided we had 3 things to do. Working on our confidence to find the healing, because when you go through disappointments, this links to the topic, because when you linked to somebody, a toxic relationship is another disappointment, because you enter that relationship that you don't expect this is how the relationship will turn out to be. And when you were faced with disappointment, like myself, I was walking through thinking that my path was positive, and then somebody will come in and say negative things, and then I'll get really, really uncomfortable. But when we got to choose to, we were asked to choose 3 people that we're gonna connect with, and the other thing was to actually have the courage to have a conversation with a situation where it's making you uncomfortable, whether in a relationship or business, face those issues. And the other thing is to visit a different city that you've never been, find your way through to do things, or go and start activities that you've never done before. So I chose one activity that I've never done before. I chose to ask raw power of God, because I asked myself that I always pray to manifest, ask God to help me with my finances. I always ask God to help me with my marriage. I always get told to manifest for my finances. So one of the pastors was preaching, the reason why people have problems is because they are powerless. The reason why people life gets messed up because you are powerless. And so I was like, you think I'm powerless? Okay. Following week, somebody preached about it. And I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. I am powerless. I'm starting to agree to it. Then my pastor again start talking about it again. I was like, okay, with Matthew's challenge, I'm going to ask you for the power of God to fall upon me. And I did the right thing. I've been praying for the power of God as my ritual. And now I can see a big difference in my confidence in my life. Raw power of God, that's my prayer every single day. I pray this prayer every day, 3 times a day. And I pray other prayers as well. And I've decided to go back to my childhood, the day I was in my mother's womb. I'm undoing every pain that my parents went through when I was in my mother's womb, because that is a code that can affect my life. The day I was born, I think I'm on 3 months now, guys. I'm still have a long way to go. I'm 44 years old this year at the moment, and I'm going every single day. Each year, each month, each day where I was born, I am actually undoing everything, the pain, the disappointment. And that's how I'm doing the healing. And I can see the difference that is doing in my life. The other day, we wrote a book, me and this Italian guy, audio book, and we finished it. And it's something that I wouldn't do. If somebody says, Nomsa, do this, I'll ask it 20 questions, find a reason not to do it. But I'm going for the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm not scared because of the decisions that I've made. I'm not joking. This is how I'm doing it. I'm doing my confidence, and each and every day I'm going each and every day. I was born in 1978. 6th of June in 1978. So that day when my mom carried me for 9 months, I've gone each day and asking the blood of Jesus to deliver me, every pain, every suffering that I don't know about, every disagreement with my parents that have caused to me to be changed, my mindset to be changed. I am undoing everything each and every day. Each and every day. I'm on 3 months today. I'm on 3 months, maybe 4 months. I have to double check until I get to my 2023. Each day I have to undo. I have to ask the blood of Jesus to go into my foundation, because when you have been abused, you do the healing for the top. You chop the top, the tree, you chop the leaves, you leave the roots. The problem doesn't go away. So I'm cutting the roots of my problems. So I will update you guys how I'm getting on by cutting those roots. But this is what I'm doing. I'm cutting the roots of my problems, the pain, the disappointment that I have gone through in life. The words that were spoken. I don't know, my parents, when they were divorcing, some evil words might have spoken against each other, and that have affected me. So I'm cutting the roots, everything. I'm going each day. When a child is born, when the day the woman falls pregnant, that destiny begins. So I've gone to that day when my mom fell pregnant with me, carried me for 9 months. I've cut the roots. I've asked the blood of Jesus to go into my foundation and deliver me and cleanse my life, cleanse my bloodline. That's what I'm doing until I get to the day of my present age, which is 2023. I think by the time I finish, it will be next month. So I will update you guys. Live with grace. So what I leave with you is the reason I'm telling you this story is you have to know your roots. When you have a problem, you have to evaluate your life. Where do these problems come from? If your business is not working, if your work, you are not getting promotion, if finances in your bank account, you're not getting the money that you want, that you desire, go back to your foundation. Cut every evil tree that was planted in your life unknowingly. The voices, it could be the voices that were spoken against you. It could be the parents. Sometimes some parents, they curse their children without knowing. So you go back to your foundation and cast everything out. You look at your bloodline. How is your bloodline look like? Your grandparents, your parents. Everybody is born to shine. No one is born to suffer. So that's why I'm sharing this story, that you guys, in order for you to become the person that you want to become, you have to understand the power of healing, the power of cutting every negative cause, every negative voice, maybe the degree. Some people, they go and study for 6 years, they get PhDs. The PhD goes into the suitcase. And they say, I can't get a job. But they have a certificate that they have never spoke life to it. That certificate is dead because it doesn't exist, because the qualifications are there. Then this person has never taken the certificates and speak life to it. You have to speak life to your certificate. Speak life to your identity. Speak life. If it is whatever it is you qualify for, speak life to it. Let the earth, God is the creator of the earth. God is the creator of the universe. The universe is God. The earth is God. So you speak to the earth to protect you and to work on your behalf, not against you. For protection, because the earth is God. There's the scriptures. You can Google the scriptures. You find the scriptures. I say laws. I speak to my life. I speak to my degree. In front of me, I entered 2010 2002 United Kingdom. I speak to the day I arrived to United Kingdom. I got my indefinite leave 2010. I speak life to that day. I speak life to my children's pictures the day they started school. My business started 2018, 2nd of January 2018 is there. I speak life to the day my business was born. My children, in the day they were born in their fathers, I speak life to it. I speak life to the day Ngosi Talk Show started. I speak life to me. So you have to speak life. You can't go and study for 6 years or 3 years and put your certificates in the suitcase, expect to get a job. You can't do that, because that certificate needs life. What if somebody else is speaking death to that certificate? So you can't get a job and not praying for that job for you to get promotion. You have to speak the day you started the job, speak life to it. Rise up, let it rise. When it rises, more blessings. You can't expect God to bless you if you can't remember the day you graduated. You can't expect God to give you blessings if you can't remember the day you got a job, the day you got married. Speak life to the day, to your marriage, the day you got married. Speak life to you the day you got engaged. Speak life the day you met your spouse. Speak life, whatever you want to do in life, speak life. That's what I do. And you'll be amazed what God can do. You'll be amazed what life can do. Some people say, I don't believe in God. I believe in the universe. But guess what? He is the creator of the universe. If you are in a toxic relationship, you can speak life to that relationship. You will be amazed how an abusive man can turn into an angel of God just because of the power of God. Not coming into a judgmental place, you come into a place where every curse, every environment that is making you becoming crazy, you cast it out. You can take the sand. It's in the scripture. And speak to the sand and put it down. That's what you need to do. If you watch me at Ngozi talk shows and the idea comes into your head, you have to go to your date of birth, the day you were born. Speak life to your date of birth. If you don't speak life, that's when you're going to meet the wrong guys. That's when the business that you want to start, you're not going to start it, because when you speak life, God will give you the reasoning, the power of reasoning, the power of getting creativity. If you want to succeed in life, you have to know how to speak. You have to know how to, you have to have the right people as well. I have the right pastors in my life that have taught me to use the Bible. Tony Robbins, when he speaks about how Jim Rohn taught him how to use the Bible. So at first, when he was saying those things, I just ignored him. I didn't understand what he meant. The Bible is the creator of life. Life is alive. If you go and use every scripture, you don't have to be a Christian, but you have to believe in the man that you're talking to. That God is an amazing God. If you speak to him, you believe. He will show you, he will do the wonders. I actually change how I think. For the past 3 weeks when I've been doing the challenge, my prayer is raw power of God to fall upon me. I have to believe it. My mind, I have to make sure when I'm praying, I'm concentrating. I have to make sure that when I'm praying, my mind doesn't go around. I'm focusing on it. And the other second one is Almighty, the power of Almighty. Overshadow me or envelope me. And those are the two things that I do. I've been doing it for 3 weeks, and God is making me go, wow. Yeah. He's just showing me that, Nomsa, I'm the creator of this earth. Anything you ask in my name, as long as you obey my principles and you believe, I can do anything. I've just been praying. I don't ask for money. I don't ask for anything. I ask the man himself. Do you know why I ask the man himself? It's because when my pastor, everyone keeps preaching about being powerless. At first, I was like, okay. Then it kept going on, and I was like, I'm being powerless. My life is not where it needs to be. I'm a genius person, but I don't know how to use my geniusness. I don't know how. So then I started praying. But now God is giving me the way. Nomsa, this is who you're meant to go. This is what you need to do. I'm not asking for inside. I'm so happy. When I get disappointments every single day, I laugh at the disappointments. I'm like, oh, it's one of these. I don't get depressed. I don't get stressed. I'm like, okay, It's one of those days, and I'll just pray again. Raw power of God, RAW, raw power of God, fall upon me. I don't give up, because problems don't mean to shut me up. They meant to make me go, west and pray. So that's what I do. So if you are a Christian and you believe in God, don't pray for money. Don't pray for manifestation. Ask the man himself. Do you know why? He'll give you. If you ask him himself, he knows what you need. If you ask for 10,000 pounds, maybe you need 1 million or 10 million. He just give it to you whatever you want. So that's what I'm doing. I'm asking him to actually come into my life and give me my destiny. If I've meant to be a billionaire, I need that destiny. And I'm not playing. If I'm meant to be worth millions, 50 millions, 100 millions, I'm not playing. I'm asking him to actually fall upon me so he can himself create my destiny. But I have to obey and believe that he can do it. If you are in a toxic relationship, you can get out of it. God bless, guys. I've got to go now. God bless. Live with grace. And if you want to comment or you want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me on my website. You can go to my website and there's an office number. There is an email address. You can connect with me. Tell me your story. I love to hear your stories, guys. Or you can leave a comment. Hey, Happy. I love you, girl. You can leave a comment as well. But what I just said about praying for the power of God is very, very powerful. I didn't realize that when these pastors were saying it means you are powerless, when your life is bombarded with problems, it means there is no anointing of God in you. There is no, you're powerless. So I've just decided to go for it. I wanted to experience how it feels, but I can tell you it feels so good. When you have this feeling where you don't worry about anything, you are aware of problems, you are aware of where you need to go. When problems are presented to you, instead of you getting stressed, you have some guidance. No, go that way. Do this. Somebody sends you a text that is hurtful. You look at it, you get some guidance. No, ignore it. Send love. That's what I'm doing, and it's amazing. God bless.